What is going on YouTube? Housewives, this your boy Yocrates. This is your review for the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 15. This is the reunion part 1. Just to let you know, the panel will be here at the Citadel tonight. Make sure you're here. I'm pretty sure we all have a lot to talk about, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna set it all the way ablaze. That's when we get to Sakina's house, okay? But we hit date. So I'm probably not gonna talk about everything, only because one, like I sort of kind of like don't care about everything. But of course, all of the extended commentary will be tonight. But again, as I go through this, I may change my mind. But we just gonna flow with it. All right, all right. So Andy makes a joke about Candy not being too booked to be there, and had even mentioned, her kind of like not being present later in this episode. And Candy even said, like, I did too much, and this was also me coming off the reality show with my band. But at the same exact time, I feel that is very not fair of Andy because he never gave that energy to Nene. Nene literally was collecting the full paycheck and wasn't present for half the stuff. Not to mention, these ladies do present their schedules and they can work around set schedules. They just choose not to. And it's clear for some reason they gunning for Candy and Kenya. It's very clear. And it's not because I like both of them, because I do, but it's evident. Especially when Andy never had the smoke for Nene. Anyway, Marlo is trying to fit sample sizes and saying, she's on the shots, which I'm pretty sure, what is it, Ozempic, I believe, which that's very taboo and whatnot. All I'm going to say is I don't like Marlo on the show because I don't know her personally, but I just hope that none of the side effects come her way. Okay. So there's that. Drew and Raph are still living in the same house, and we all trying to figure out how is that going to work. And now, once the reunion is over, even though it's already over for them, but once we get done with it, it's really going to make us question, like, how are y'all coexisting? But whatever. Sonya's 4.5 months pregnant. She's due on Christmas Day. She's having a Capricorn. Whoop, whoop. Y'all know how I feel about that. So, we started with Sheree's package, and she claims Bob never even got a blood test on that daughter, and her children didn't tell her that they met with her because they knew she wouldn't care. Somewhat summing up her words, and look, I don't give Sheree much, but I'm gonna give her that she seemed to be prepared for this reunion, and maybe it's because she needed to show and prove because of her track record and getting fired and whatnot. But yeah, she seemed overly, which ain't bad, her being overly prepared, but it just seems that way. We'll get to that soon enough. Andy asked Kenya why she compared Bob and Martell to each other, and she pretty much said, like, based off of what Bob has shown me and said and done in reference to Kenya, I mean, not Kenya, Sheree, and based off of what I have seen of Martell on television, yeah, they come from the same cloth. I don't disagree with that. So, Candy is asked about Sheree's new face, and Sheree says Drew should feel insulted because that was one of her worst pictures that she's ever taken. I mean, shots fired, but I guess Drew is just saving all the energy and smoke. For Candy, Courtney, and Ralph, I guess. So Kenya brings up the revenge tape that Martell has on Mel, in reference to, Sheree is sitting here defending, Martell, but he's doing this to his soon-to-be ex-wife because Sheree says they're no longer together because she chose her, which we knew that was going to happen. But Sheree said, oh, there was just so much noise, and now it's so much noise, and he never showed you this type of person, but he's threatening to release a videotape on his ex-wife. And if I'm not mistaken, didn't Bob also threaten to do the same thing to you? But it's just noise and you have nothing to say about it? Okay. Whatever. Andy asked Sheree why she bring up Kenya not having a man. And Kenya says she doesn't need a man, especially pretty much like the ones that Sheree has. Yeah, I don't want none of those. Because Sheree whole thing is, well, she keeps saying that she has to match the energy. Okay. And if that's what she feels that she has to do, cool, whatever. And because their whole thing is Roy was never really on the show. And compared to Martell and Scottley, he wasn't. Now, where Kenya lost me is when she's like, well, when the super trailer came out, and the whole him popping of a cherry came up, he really tried to shy away. And Andy was like, oh, well, we had already wrapped filming by then, which is a lie. Which is definitely a lie. Now, if they're talking about the mega trailer or the super trailer halfway through the season, possibly. If we're talking about the very first trailer, that's a lie. Because they're still shooting after that first trailer drops. They're still shooting for a duration. So, not really trying to hear that. But at the same exact time, can you, like, whenever it comes to you and your mans, this is like with Mark and Andy saying what he said he would never want to be on a show like this and third. Oh, well, that came out in the blogs, and they're like, no, he actually told my producers that, like, Ken, yeah, come on now, baby, you got to do better. You have to do better, especially if you're going to have the reasoning. And now with her saying that he's a businessman and he's been hearing stuff, and I've been telling him what's been said, and that's keeping him away. Cool, that's cool. We can run with that, but just be a little bit more honest and forthcoming about what is going on, and pick your lies a little bit better. Now, come on now, Kenya. What else we got? But as she's talking about this, Kenya says, it's hard out here. Drew echoes, yeah, it's hard out here. Now, Sonya, I don't know why she was here this whole half. But she had even called out Drew. How would you know? You shouldn't know. But she said it's soft, even though it was picked up. But it was one of those like, see, Sonya, that's when you could have just went ahead and just said something like if you gonna try to be Cynthia, because there have been times where Cynthia ain't had nothing to say, but she would say little things that contributed to the conversation to where it's okay. We see why you're here. Because when Claudia was on, Claudia didn't really contribute much with the reunions that she did, which is part of the reason why they didn't ask her back, because it's just like, yeah, you had your moments during the show, but you really not have a presence on the reunion. So I get what Science is trying to do. It's just every attempt to speak up fell flat, except for this one. So, Kenya's divorce isn't final. We found out that there's a contempt charge that, Mark has placed, and part of it is, in essence, Marlo endangering the safety of their child. And Kenya says because of that, and also knowing that she has reached out to Mark over 2 years ago trying to get information on her because Mark told her, and Mark could be lying, but I mean, I believe it. So she's like, you're being subpoenaed, and she passed the paperwork to Andy, but it ain't filled out. Now, Kenya, you normally good, especially with the props. Now with the bullhorn trying to put the batteries in, like you have to be a little bit more better, Cause I was just like, gosh darn it, Kenya, look, come on now, baby. But nevertheless, she had Marlo shook and scared. Now I'm not, I don't play in card, and I'm not hoping that it's true. But hey, if you got it, hey, come on now, let's let this play out, and that would actually be something to keep Kenya on the show, because I highly doubt Andy will want for this to play out and it not be caught on camera. But there is a talk of a reboot, but we just don't know how true it is, so we just gonna leave that where it's at. Kenya is okay. So I already talked about the whole her finding Marlo's number in what's Mark's call log because of the discovery and them going through divorce and whatnot. She just doesn't have access to the text messages. Again, I don't know how true that is because I've never done a discovery because I ain't never been married, so I don't know. So Sheree's birthday party comes up, and Sheree says, Martell was an invited guest, and Andy questions, oh, well, were you going to pay for everybody? And she was like, what, for my birthday party? And I get where Andy's coming from. Like, if you saying that you invited these people and Martell wasn't invited guests to this thing, to this party, yeah, it's expected that you're going to pay, even if it's your birthday. Like, for my birthday party last year, yeah, it was here in my apartment. But everything was already done. Food, drinks, all that. Already, it wasn't like people came. I'm like, all right, so this is what I'm trying to have to eat. I need for y'all to go ahead and pay for it. Like, it don't work like that. Now, if somebody is throwing you a party, something totally different. But again, whatever. Andy says to Sheree that she has an interesting relationship with bills. Baby, when I tell you, I cackle. I was like, oh my lord. So Sheree says no one has taken her to court over an unpaid bill. That was a shot at Drew, or stealing of ideas. Candy, she said it right for Candy, and Candy says, let's talk about it. you not paying the fashion designer and it not being on your website. And then Sheree comes with a receipt where Roman says that she paid the bill in full and Sheree reimbursed her. Now, we don't know the timeline in which that happened. But my question is, why did I think it's not Roman? I think it's Rowan. I think that's her name. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, honestly, but I think it's Rowan. I think it's Rowan. Why did Rowan have to pay this person out of her own pocket and then have to be reimbursed? And again, we don't know the timeline of that. But Candy's whole thing is, with that being said, those fashions that we saw on the runway still ain't on your website. And Sheree is like, why are you so concerned with my business? You need to be concerned with mopping those dirty floors in your restaurant. And Candy's just like, oh, who says jigga what now? And Candy says, worry about your new face. So Sheree stands up and shows her body and says, Candy could never. And Candy says, you are a low down, dirty, nothing ass trick. She ain't say trick. We know what word she used. And the ladies are yelling and whatnot. And one thing I will say is, because Sheree is trying to deny, things that have been done. And it's been rumored that Bob helped get her a butt job. I don't know if I'm gonna say allegedly, because I ain't got proof of it. So, but again, even them, and even say like, okay, the majority of y'all have had work done, so I don't know why it's such a big thing. But Andy has like a little bowl with like a little thing that you can bang in it to make sounds, almost for like, I don't want to call it a sound bowl or whatever, but just to make a harmonious noise for like meditation and whatnot. So he's banging that, trying to get their attention to shut up. Then there's a gong behind him, so he goes and he hits that, which it was funny, but I appreciate it because I think Andy knows that he has already been called out twice for yelling at the women. I know he yelled at the Jersey women, and I think he also yelled at the Atlanta women, if I'm not mistaken. So good, we can take that. Kenya asked why okay, so I'm sorry, getting ahead of myself. So then Sheree pulls out a pamphlet, and it's pretty much all dedicated towards Candy. She came to play. She came to play, which I find to be funny how in one season you can have a pamphlet, but we couldn't get She by Sheree for how many seasons, but they none of my business though. And she's talking about the market, talking about some, so you have this at tax for 75, like it costs $75, but it's marked up to $99. And Candy's just like, yeah, but it's not marked up hundreds of dollars, and there has to be a profit margin, which is understandable. That's kind of how this thing goes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. Sheree is doing the absolute most, but again, it is what it is. Let me see. Kenya asked why she wasn't even featured and why she wasn't on the cover. And then Sheree was like, because I couldn't find a good enough picture. Now, had she just stood in there, I would have went up for Sheree, because that is... Sheree don't have quick comebacks. That was a good one. But then she was like, oh no, because there's so many beautiful pictures. I'm just like, gosh darn it, Sheree. Like, you were so close, but okay. And then the question is, did you get the She by Sheree you all ordered while in Portugal? Candy got hers. Sonya got hers. So then a question is asked, She by Sheree turn a profit? Long story short, no. Sheree presents Drew with a bag saying, and Sonya is saying, oh, I still haven't gotten one. And she wants Candy to open it. And then there's, I forget what you call it, but the little thing that, producers have on acting sets, the whole clacker where it says and scene, cut that thing. And Candy, and Candy says, who been helping you with your reads this year? Candy, we all want to know the same exact thing. Because again, are they good? Yes, but we know that this isn't Sheree because Sheree's not that quick with it. But cool. So now we get Drew package, and then, the whole shooting the movie was better than expected. The question is asked, how do you feel about, and this is Candy, Drew saying she will only do Lifetime and above, and Candy's like, good luck. And Drew says she took a long, like she pretty much took a pay cut, just to do this. And again, like that may be true, but it's like you knew what you were getting into. But I also feel like because you were not trying to focus on your marriage and you needed something else to shoot during this season to, show that you're doing something, yeah, you went ahead and you took this. Not I'm just calling it a thing because she could have just said no, left it at that, and that just been that on that. But whatever. Kenya is asked about her tweet versus the low budget comment that she made. She says the comment was shade, and the woo 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 comment is because she knows that Drew is talented and want more, but she then apologizes. Candy is asked, were you upset with Drew claiming that the kissing rumors were much to support your movie? And she says, of course, and I'm upset. She called me a liar multiple times. Drew asked, why did you say if I, in 2021, misread the situation, I was wrong? And I'm sitting there thinking, like, I think we all know why she said that. And Katie was like, because I was trying to be a friend of you, pretty much. And let me see, 'cause I done lost my dang on her. And then Drew claims people told her, to go along with this, because you don't want to go after Candy because, she got these subscribers and all this other stuff. And she brings up Candy believing she lied about her sister's mental health. And that was on the after show. And everyone, Eve Candy was like, I thought that you were lying about it because you have been known to lie. So I don't know what is and what isn't the truth, but when I saw it play out, then I'm like, oh, okay, her sister really was going through something. Understandable, right? At least to me. So Candy replies with, the way that you've been lying up here on this couch, you probably gaslight Ralph. Now that right there was so male identified. And even if you felt that way in terms of solidarity, why do that? And also, why give a man, and I'm a dude, but we live in a patriarchal society, why give him an out? Why even give him something to where he can't even remotely use against her? I know you mad, but like, don't sit here and don't bring Ralph into it to where you're giving him something. Now, on some real, do I think that they both gaslight each other? Yeah, but I'm more than sure he does it way more than she does. So, but I was just like, Candy, I didn't like that. But look, she was mad. I swear, I feel like they were just trying to get Candy. Like, they wanted her activated, and damn it, she was. So Drew wants to make sure that they're good. Baby, when I tell you the Andy's just like, no, you not. Everybody's just like, girl, seriously? Andy's just like, she pretty much just kind of went to Ralph's scene like, no, y'all not good. And I think for Drew, it's the whole, okay, we're trying to create a moment. This is television. So, okay, we just did this and scene. Are we good? And Candy looking like, and again, Candy, I'm gonna tug at you once. Like, you need to be better. You have to have a better selection of the people that you want to help. I'm all for sitting here helping people. I really am. I'm all for being a giver, and I sometimes give way more of myself than I really should. And that's something that I work on daily. But you got to be real selective because again, you didn't helped out Grand Dragon Zodiac, and we see where that got you. You didn't try to help out Posha, and we see where that got you. Here you are helping out Drew, and you see how ungrateful she is. Even in the midst of a writer strike that you didn't know that will be happening then, but Drew already got paid, and this is adding to her IMDb and all the other stuff, and it's on Peacock. So, and if I'm not mistaken, she's probably going to get some form of a residual from this being on Peacock, and it's on Peacock, which means that it's going to be streaming there, if not forever, at least for a nice little duration. So, whatever. Drew's song is doing okay. The video made it to BET. Good to know. What else? A viewer asked if Marlo is sorry for her treatment of Drew, and no one can just pay for plastic surgery and all that stuff and have a new body like you do. Now, baby, I don't know who wrote it, but that was a read. Now, Marlo did say, because I said it earlier, that we not gonna act like other women on the show have not had surgery done, but still, as Marlo did come at Drew real crazy. Now, I don't know what we're going to get from Marlo in part 2, but I also want to, I really want to say this, like, Andy need to stop doing these reunions because his bias is showing. It's clear I'm not gonna say he really came at Kenya Snap, but he was coming for Candy and allowing that to happen, and things were not balanced because how is it that we bring up Marlo kicking the door and she gives a little half-ass apology when it wasn't even an apology, but a have whatever in reference to Brooklyn, but that's all that we get. But she's not pressed about it. She can sit here and go in on Drew's body and all this other stuff, and we just fly past it. So all the wrong that Marlo has to, again, like, it's clear when they're protecting somebody, and it is exhausting and it is annoying. Seriously. Anyway, Drew is asked about her divorce details. We'll see when Ralph gets out there. Marlo says, she because a lot of them feel that Ralph and Drew will make their way back to each other. And now Marlo being shady and petty, because it was a dig. We all called it. She was like, yeah, because I feel they're going to make their way back to each other. Because, I told Ralph, we talked about it. And Drew was looking like, you said what? So Manetta and Courtney join. Andy asks how Courtney is related to Ralph. We don't care. Drew says it's giving fake cousin. Courtney replies, everything about you is fake. Drew tosses a plum towards Courtney. So here we go with Drew and her props and whatnot and throwing stuff. And Marlo clicked in for a split second, like, don't be throwing nothing at me, especially with laying on my dress. Like, and now, I'm not going to say why she was upset about it laying on the dress, but I'm going to leave that alone. Leave it where it be. We probably going to get that tonight. Marlo's package is played. She's still dating Scully, and they have not met each other's respective kids. That is great to hear, even though they have, had relations. We all know. She's still moving forward, and in terms of clearing her record, and Fraudra is helping her. And again, Marlo said that purposefully to get up under Candy's skin. But again, nobody wants to call these things out, but that's fine because it's Marlo. Kenya is asked about why is it that, okay, why was Martell being in her DMs a problem, but Roy being in Marlo's DMs something else? Now, Kenya tried to explain how commenting on this, whatever, and he goes to this, look, I don't be on social media like that, so I can't tell you what it is, whatever. But the difference is, it was not really just a one-time thing. It was, they had a day, it was so long ago, who cares? But with Kenya is, he had been trying to hit up other people, not just her, other people on the show, and it's clear what he was trying to do. And for Kenya, that was her trying to be a friend to Sheree. Like, hey, I'm letting you know what this is, because when Marlo brought it up, it wasn't because she was trying to be a friend to Kenya. Like, oh, I just want to let you know that he had sent me a DM one time. It was, no, you were trying to make her feel away. Like, but again, I know Andy's asking the questions, but come on, bro. You know what it is. Like, just call it out and just say what it is. So Kenya says Roy only took her, to lunch, and a day where Marlo means that it's money left on the dresser. I was like, oh, well, she went there. Now, we heard that from the previews, but again, she went there. Like, again, Kenya gonna say what Kenya gonna say. I ain't even mad. So Andy, okay, I spoke about this out of sequence, but Andy asked why Roy hasn't been around, but I already spoke on that. My bad. So, Sheree being a bone collector versus, a peacekeeper comes up. Sheree doesn't consider herself to be a bone collector anymore. BS. Sheree is asked about not addressing people in the moment, but in the confessionals. Sheree says, other people do it. I'm not the only one. I own my stuff. Who cares? Marlo Fashion Corner comes up. A viewer asks her, but since you did this at the brunching when they were wearing that one particular brand name, how about you do it now? So, of course, she goes through, she's picking apart the other couch, but then when she gets to her couch, it's nothing but positives. Miss me. So then the video footage and the collusion comes up, and Courtney claims that she, when she said the whole trick word, it wasn't her, it was her regurgitating what Drew had said about LaToya, not necessarily calling Drew a trick, and she only admitted or copped to saying it because Drew was already upset, going on and on about it, and she just wanted to, dead it. So Candy is asked how she felt about being called ghetto. Marlo, Sonya, and Courtney both say, well, no, she wasn't being called ghetto, is that she brought the ghetto out. And even though, yes, we're clarifying it, it's still, like, it was implied that she was ghetto. Let's keep it a buck. And Candy whole thing is like, yeah, it doesn't feel good. It sucks. And then even when I'm sitting here talking to Sonya, how you bringing me this information back, but you didn't even attempt to defend me. And then Sonya, before even attempting to, like, really talk about it, was like, well, you set the precedence for our relationship, because when I sent you the tweet or whatever, or the whatever the post was that Drew did about hair flipping on the haters or something like that, and Candy said to her that it was funny. So because that was funny to Candy, okay, well, I just laughed, but then I don't even remember laughing and all this other stuff. And Sonya, this is your moment and you can't even stick the landing. And that is pitiful. It really is. Especially when you was fumbling like, oh, what did I defend? Did I not defend? Just like, but again, Candy, this should let you know if this whole crew comes back, you need to just dead that with Sonya, where it's just like, because my thing is, if you can sit in front of people who don't like me, and I feel a way about people just sitting amongst people and they talking cash money about me, and I find out that you was there and that you didn't say anything. If I find out, I'm going to feel away. I'm truly going to feel away if you bring it back to me and you just didn't say nothing. Where it's like, okay, now, but either way, I gotta watch you, and I probably gotta reevaluate you in my circle. Um, what was it? I said that. So Manetta is asked about the door being slammed and calling them hyenas, and all I'm gonna say is this: because Sheree whole thing is, you know what, I didn't see it because I was behind, and you know, Manetta, if you saw that it happened, then why did you need my validation? And it's because y'all are all trying to sit here and defend Marlo and defend Marlo and her BS. But again, and why did Andy not ask Marlo, why did you slam the door? Again, Andy is not holding Marlo's feet to the fire. I swear it's so annoying. Like, and it's not that he's just doing it to Candy and Kenya, primarily Candy. But if you're going to do it to everybody. Your bias is showing, Andy. But again, Marlo mum's the word. So Andy asked, why was one film of the footage different from the other film of the footage? Andy, you know why. And Manetta said best, because one piece of the footage was only sent to production. The other piece of the footage was sent outside of this circle to somebody that is not even a part of this collective that is filming. That's the difference. And I'm almost done, y'all, because I didn't even think I was going to give y'all this much. And I didn't actually went through everything in my notes. So see, look, I see y'all being nice. So Drew was asked why did she take what Courtney said so hard. And Drew pretty much says because I hadn't done anything to her to even warrant any of this to happen. So Courtney is asked, why was Kenya fall karma? And she was like, well, you know, because she was cussing out production. She failed this and third. Plus, I already knew that she was okay, but she was probably embarrassed. Kenya is asked about the salon. And she was like, yeah, we did a soft launch. And then they pretty much went back to, you know, being under construction because the loft area wasn't installed yet. So they did the soft launch, and I'm pretty sure the soft launch was just for the show. Now it's back under construction, so it can be completely finished. So when they do the actual opening, which chances are, if the whole crew comes back for next season, the opening of the salon will probably be the beginning party, like the first episode, and that will be that party 9 times out of 10. I'm not even giving them suggestions. I'm just saying, like, we know how this stuff plays out when it comes to reality television, right? Courtney is asked about what she knows about Drew and Ty and what she referenced, and she says that it came from Ralph and he's hurt by it. Drew says that Ralph has been coaching Courtney this whole entire time, and yeah, and then also says, because she got crunk at this point, and says, don't you ever speak on my child ever again. I'm letting you know that. Now, again, I don't see it for Courtney. I mean, that she had some Capricorn energy right here, because she was just like, and what will you do? Yeah, Drew, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? We don't know. But that's pretty much it, y'all. I was able to give y'all almost, well, it'll be 29 minutes by the time I finish wrapping up, but I gave y'all that much, so that's cool. So thank you all so much for watching. Please make it back here tonight for the Whether You Like It or Not panel. And with that being said, y'all have a blessed, safe Labor Day weekend, and let's go ahead and thug it out for the rest of this week. And until then, I will see y'all tonight. Peace out.